Okay, everyone. So now we're just going to be working with Unity, and I just want to create a repository for this for me to be able to track all of the different changes that we're doing. So I'm just going to track this first because I know I will be encountering a problem here. So let me just go and open this up just to show you what problem that will be because I was trying to troubleshoot how this should be fixed. And let's now have here. So let me just delete that. And now we know that it doesn't have any Git inside of it. So Git status. So fatal, not a Git repository or any parent directory. So now I'm just going to paste here the two commands and I'm going to initialize it. And let me just go and delete this. And now I'm going to Git initialize it. You would see it's tracking all of the different packages that Unity has. So the reason why you're encountering this is because of uh, the reason that Unity generates thousands of temporary metadata and library files. And the moment we create a project, we have to tell Git to ignore these automatic files immediately, or else our repository will really be corrupted or can be corrupted and bloated. So our fix here is to create a git ignore file here dot git ignore, and in that git ignore we would want to go and let's see, let me just have all of this content control. So you would see these are the different files that we want to be removed from the repository that we have created for git. And let's see, let's save this, and let's now try to go and close that. Let's also try to reopen it again, cmd code dot. This would still be showing us a possible problem. So let's see if that fix it. So you would see it still is now, as we can see now, it's only tracking the 286 file. And that's perfectly normal because even though this is a new project, Unity still has a lot of files that we are trying to track. So the 286 files here will be containing the packages folder, project settings, and the assets folder. And for us to test out and check if it's safe to commit, we can go and do git status. So git status, and we can see we have the .git ignore, the vs config, which is a hidden file, and assets, packages, project settings, and readme. So the .git ignore is helping us out to have a clean structure for a professional Unity repository. And it will be showing us that before its first commit, Git is now tracking only your essential settings, configurations, and source file, while ignoring the thousands of temporary library files. So now we can try to go and continue. Let's try that out. Let me just go back here, and I'm going to add a README. And I think we already have that README file here. And then let me just go and let's see, git add readme file. So let me just close this, paste that here. Then let's have a git commit, first commit. And we now have those and git branch. Of course, we want it to be on the main branch. And then let's go and git remote add origin to this specific repository on GitHub. And we want to have that last line of code. So if we go back here, we want to git push dash c origin, and we now should be able to go and check out, and that should be now getting ignored if we did it correctly. So git, let's see, git push dash origin. Okay, so that's good. And now let's have refresh on our repository. And I think what we just push is actually the README file. And now we have that readme file and markdown. So what we can do, of course, we can try to do something else here, because I know for a fact that we will definitely be working with a lot of large files in Unity. So what I want to do next is to set up Git LFS, or large file storage. So how do we do that? Let's first go check Git LFS version if I already have that installed. So if I did install that in my repository here, and if you don't have that yet, you can actually type winget install github git lfs, and you can either also go and try to download it from https git-lfs.com. So I would recommend that you go read about it first before you go do anything. One rule of thumb, you have to make sure that you read the scripts that you're going to be running inside of your computer. So make sure that you try to read first those commands, get to be familiarized with it. So at least in that way, you know what you're currently running in your system. And of course, we want to go and do something here. So we want to initialize it. So what I'm going to do here is git initialize, or LFS install, and updated git hooks. Git LF has now been initialized, and now we want to track Unity binary assets. So from our root directory here of all of those projects, let's go and try to paste this, and that should now be generating a git attributes file. As you can see, we now have that git attributes. And after this is done, let's wait for it to finish. So it's going to be tracking those large files. And now we do have that. So I think that's the last part. And I'm just going to track OTF here. And then I'm just going to go and try to do cat dot git attributes. What do we have in there? So we can see that we have the asterisk, and it's looking for all of those PSD files. And we're making sure that it will be in the large file, or the git LFS. So now we want to go and try to commit this file. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try out git add all. So that means all of those files that are here will be added to our repository. So git add all, and let's just try this out. Hopefully that nothing's going to happen, or nothing bad will happen. Git add all, git commit -m, add all files with git attributes, and what's the other one? Git ignore. So now this should now be setting things up for us. And we now have Git LFS and Git ignore set up for our project. So if I go back to my Unity project here, and let's see, I think we now have that saved. We go back to our setup here. Why is this still? Oh, we have some example assets here. So Git status, what's happening? Nothing to commit, or nothing to commit. Working tree is currently clean right now. So if we try to go and refresh our Pintig Laro games here, we should now be able to see our second commit. Or I think I still have something I forgot to do. Did we git at all? Git commit. Let's go back up here and let's see -m. Okay, I think we have to do a git push. I forgot to git push all of this to our remote repository. So let's go and wait for this to finish. And let's hope that there will be no problem as we try to go and upload it. So let me just go and pause this for a while. I think it's better if we go and keep it running. So let's just see if there will be any problems that we will be encountering as we try to set up Git LFS here. And I think it did work. So I think there's no problem. So let's go and try to check that out. Let's go and refresh. And now we should see all of the assets, packages, project settings, Git attributes, Git ignore, VS config, readme.md. All of it are now set up in our Unity repository here. So now we can now create and track all of our progress in our Git repository. And that's it for this video. Hopefully this will be helping you track and manage all of the changes and for you to be able to have implemented version control in your game as you try to develop your games in the future. So thank you and see you in our next lesson.